Alright, so we're halfway through the construction of our database and we're noticing the various steps needed to get your database up and running. And remember that you can create database for several reasons, right? So depending on what you design or what you plan your database for, that is what you're creating your tables for. So we created our tables so far, and we also looked at the creation of our forms. And I know I went a little bit into the modifications of form by adding in the combo boxes and adding in buttons. But for this particular lesson, I want to show you guys how to create some simple queries. And we'll see if we can start with a select query and then work our way up. So we have our data. I take it that you have entered in some data into your database also, right? So what we want to do tonight is to create a query. So let's go to create, followed by query design. Now remember that a query is, you guys can remember from when we spoke about objects, what's a query? Query is a answer to a particular question. So it means then that we're now asking our database for something. We're asking our database for data. And it depends on the amount of data you have or whether data exists. That is what the results of a query will be, right? So first of all, let's create a simple single table query for our customer. So I only add in customer, I double click it, and we add it in. I want a list of my customers' ID, first name, last name, and email addresses. So I simply just double click them and you notice that they appear here below. And I want to sort by last name in ascending order. So notice on the sort here, I am choosing last name ascending order. Fine. I'll check if my query works by clicking on Run under the Design tab. And notice it works and sorted in ascending order by last name. So we have created our first query. I will save this query as customer last, well, customer data query. So this is all my customers. So a query allows you again to simply ask your database for things that you might want. So think about another query that you might want to do from your database. Go ahead and create a query for rooms. All the rooms that are found in your hotel, create a query for that and save it as room query. So again, it's create, query design, room, and I want room ID, name, and let's say number of beds. Save query as room beds query. And now when I double click that, it gives me the rooms and the number of beds found within the rooms. So you can quickly ask your database for something, it analyzes it, it pops up the data that you want or the information now that you want. It becomes information because you're asking for it, something that you want from your database. So far you have seen single tables, single table query, and your simply select query. And I also did a sorting in one of the query for last name.